Okay. And this is the underlying energy, the Ace of Wands. So this is about a new beginning, taking action and getting started with something, right? You have the passion, the energy, the drive to go forth with this. And I think a lot of you guys have been either separate or alone for a long time. And what brought you two together was the solitude, was the fact that you guys were in the process of healing your inner child. I think there's a lot of that coming up here. Because the children, like I said before, it could be your inner child, some things that may not have been healed, right? Something that you guys have been working hard to, recover and to grow and to definitely nurture a little bit more. And it's interesting that the hermit comes up because that's what it does. That's what he does. He goes in, he heals his own inner child, he nurtures his own inner child, he takes care of himself. He treats himself with love and appreciation, and that, I think, that's what brought you two together. You guys were really doing your soul searching. You guys were really, finding your inner strength, connecting with your inner spirit, your inner child, and really healing that energy. Now, the mindset that you guys both were coming into this relationship is very interesting. Somebody's seeing this relationship and seeing great progress with this relationship. I think everything is moving exactly how it was planned, exactly how things have been going, and I think they are in love, right? The Eight of Wands is definitely the card of love. Oh, really fast, actually. I usually typically read this side as you guys, Sagittarius. This is the default way I read my soulmate investigation readings, but you have the opportunity to go and pick the other side if it doesn't resonate. But yes, the Eight of Wands talks about things moving fast, progress being made, things happening, things moving fast. And I think you guys are really going with the flow, going with the speed of everything. And I really like this energy because I'm hearing that there's nothing really here that's saying that anybody's overwhelmed with it. I think there's a lot of going with the flow, though, a lot of trusting the intuition here. But I feel like this person sees this relationship as something that definitely hit them pretty fast as far as passion goes, as far as love goes, definitely. The Eight of Wands can be the arrows of love. There's a lot of communication, which is awesome. And I feel like this person is definitely enjoying the pace of how this relationship is blossoming. Now, the other person here is thinking of children, okay? They can't be thinking of children, legitimate children here, because we have children, and then we have the page, which is a child anyway. But it can also indicate messages. It can being open regarding how you feel, communicating openly about how you feel. This person is cultivating their ideal happiness. I feel like that's the thing. This person, children doesn't necessarily have to be healing anything, right? You don't have to be healing an old wound or anything like that. It could honestly be that this person is actually reinventing their dreams and coming up with a new dream, coming up with dreams that truly makes them feel happy, that makes them feel good. Right? This is the Page of Cups to me is also cultivation of a heart's desire, and I think that's what's going on. I think this real person, that's in this relationship is coming up with new ideas and new dreams and new aspirations, as well as falling in love, right? Because this can also be puppy love, right? This is a small little little romantic sort of thing, and nothing huge, nothing major, but I feel like they have started something major, and they feel like it's something major and something that they're already committed to with the Ace of Pentacles. This is a really big step for somebody that's starting to just feel the love, right? And I think this is like a small love. They're kind of just getting used to their emotions, kind of getting used to their feelings, and allowing them to just roam and to play and to explore those while they're starting something that they can feel secure in, right? Now, the Ace of Pentacles, you don't start out with the security, support, and stability. That's something that requires work and dedication to get there, which is why this is an ace, right? There's a lot of growth that's going into this relationship. There's a lot of work that's going to be going into this relationship, a lot of patience, a lot of time that's going to be put into it in order for there to be stability in this connection. But I don't think this person sees this as anything less than than prosperity, than already with the feeling of this person is worth working hard to see if we can get to that stability, right? Because the Ace of Pentacles is the potential for something long term, something that can last the test, that can stand the test of time, something that can definitely result in something way longer and way more valuable, in a sense of emotional stability, if that makes sense. And I feel like with this person here starting this Ace of Pentacles, or in this position, showing that they're starting something new, branching out, starting something new, that could be doing something new on all fronts, not just a relationship. This could be in regards to the career, right? They could be starting a new career. This could be your coworker here, right? This connection is going really well. They like the speed of everything because there is there is this mindset of being open and understanding each other, and the creativity, the trusting your intuition and all that. That is very strong here. But the Ace of Pentacles, I like that there. Now the other person, how they're displaying themselves to one another, is the Queen of Cups. This person's very much in love. Now this person could also indicate that they're very much aware of their emotions. It could be a little secretive too. They kind of keep their emotions to themselves. Not because they don't know how to express that, but they know that, they know what they want, they know what they're going for, and they don't need to necessarily communicate that. They're very much in control of how they feel. They're very aware of how they feel. They know what they feel. They know what they want. And at the same time, I feel like these people, both the parties here are working very hardcore together, right? They're really good at working together. They can. But this person's a little bit more passive. They're not necessarily going out of their way to get things to go, get things going. They're understanding there's a flow, there's a process, there's a speed to things. And I feel like this person's definitely very aware of what they love. Now, they're keeping it to themselves, I feel, because the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords, there's nothing wrong with the King of Swords. The King of Swords doesn't keep secrets. The King of Swords is very open, honest, and very outspoken. He doesn't have a problem with speaking his mind. But I feel like with the King of Swords coming up here in the foundation, I feel like the King of Swords is definitely aware of their truth, aware of what they believe in. They have communicated, they're aware of their communication. I feel like this person is very strong in their sense of morals and and where they stand and who they are as individuals. So the Queen of Cups could also just be, not just the person that's keeping a secret, because this person ain't keeping no secrets. I think this person's very much aware of what they want, and I think this person does make it known because the King of Swords is there, right? I think they don't speak about it a lot. They don't go out of their way for it because they are already in a place of happiness and they are very content where they are. They're not looking for more. They're not looking for more. Now at the same time, they could be keeping, at the same time, they may not be content. This person could be protective of their emotions, which is why they don't say anything. And I think that's probably why, when they look at the relationship, they do see things moving very fast, but maybe they just, moving very fast, but maybe they know they need to communicate, but they aren't. Right? Because what brought you two together is the Hermit. The Hermit don't talk to anybody else but himself. He is going within himself, right? He's not connecting with anybody. He's very solo. And I feel like working together is the part that is going to be the interesting part, because everybody's been doing things on their own. Everybody's been handling this stuff on their own. But I think this is here's what's interesting. This person knows what they want. The King of Swords is very aware of what they want. Not confused. They know what they need. They know what they want. They are ready to take action on it. They're in a position to, but they have the Queen of Cups here, so they're passive. They're not actually taking action right now. But with the other person here with the Seven of Cups, that is somebody that is trying to decide on what they want, trying to make a decision on what their heart's desire will be. Right? They don't actually know yet. They don't actually have a clue. And yet they're willing to start something new, start something in regards to stability, support, and security. They're really wanting to make something happen. They're committed to a relationship, but they don't know what they want. But they're trying to. I think this relationship is going to bring them new ideas, bring them something that they don't have to the table, which is, like I said, different ideas, a different perspective, and emotionally, someone that's emotionally open, that's totally non-judgmental. The King of Swords, I don't see him as a judgmental individual, okay? This person does not judge. The King of Swords doesn't judge because he has his own beliefs and his own, his own ways of doing things, and he won't shun yours down. He won't shut your ideas down, but he will not consider to do them on his own. Like, he always has his truth, his own belief system. If it works with him, if it's in his own code, then he's cool with it. But if it's not in his own code, that's totally fine. If you do it, he ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So what's interesting about this reading is that what you guys have, well, what the obstacle is, for you both is a stable connection. Not stable connection, is getting to a place of stability. Moving forward in the relationship, either moving physically, or there is this, moving up in a relationship. No longer dating, going to be more exclusive with the dating, or being in a stable relationship. Finally, boyfriend and girlfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you guys, whatever this person is, or whoever this person is for you guys, right? This could be that you guys are in a current relationship and you want to get to a place where you're more stable, but you guys are recommitting yourselves to this. But I feel like it's really weird, right? Because this person with the Seven of Cups is coming from this, open to love, flirting, and I think they're also tapping into fantasies. They're opening their life up, they're opening their minds up, and opening their possibilities up to dreams that, that they want to they want to perhaps aspire to get to, right? They may want to reach, they may want to explore those dreams with you. Right? They're open to new possibilities, they're open to different options, they're open to exploration. And I feel like they may want to do it with you, but they want to feel like they're in a stable space before they do it, before they do that, which is why they're coming off as very committed. That's a very interesting reading. Very interesting reading this time around, Sagittarius. All right. Let's see what you guys got for your wisdom of the Oracle. I saw that. Changing the wind did come up, but there was like several other cards. And I want one card, one clean card, or two. It don't matter. Oh, go the distance. Because look at the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands talks about there being a new beginning that's definitely about taking control, taking act. Not about taking control, but taking action, doing the new beginning, or it's taking action on your new beginning. And with go the distance, it's really talking about having endurance, pushing through the difficult times, trusting yourself to overcome the obstacles, to continue to stand down the rough patches, to overcoming certain things that may be difficult at the moment. And I feel like you guys are just starting. Ace of Wands, Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Y'all starting something brand new, and you guys are coming from this from a very open space. And I feel like with the King of Swords, you guys have had, if this is you guys know what you want, you know your truth. And this person is still trying to decide that. This person is still trying to figure that out. At the same time, this person may already have an idea of what they want, but it's a kind of like it's all fantasy right now, and they're choosing to make it a reality. Right? They're coming from a place of, making a decision, and they finally decided on it, which is why they're committed to it. They've been, kind of in a place of limbo, trying to understand what's going on, trying to understand what they want, trying to figure out if any of these colors is really what can offer them happiness. And I feel like they picked that cup, and that cup was you. And I feel like this is them taking the steps now to really make it work. And this is a small little thing. It's a small little project. This is why children are affecting your love life. And it could be that maybe this person may want children one day. Maybe this is a situation where you guys are working together to really build a relationship. But it's going to start small before it can get bigger. And that's why this is all about beginnings. And I feel like with the children coming up in this reading here, it's about beginnings. It's not about actual physical children, is about beginnings. And what you're all starting here is a brand new beginning. But until you get to a place of stability, you guys are going to go through things together that's going to require you to be strong going through it. You know what I mean?